What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be talking about Muggan or Machinedramon as you guys come to know and love it. So I'm excited to talk about it. Without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So as you guys know, Machinedramon was introduced kind of more or less EX-01, where it kind of got a full dedicated deck to it that was very similar to what you would expect for, you know, the time. The set definitely flopped very hard on release. I'm gonna be straight honest with you, one of the most cheapest sets of the long running finesse, and you know, probably being 20 bucks for a booster box was always something fantastical. But as you know, as time goes on, we have to evolve and adapt, and then we get these new decks that kind of just give a new focal point, and it's great to see. Machinedramon is one of them. You know, this card was the OG threat, one of the more powerhouse back in the day, because again, in SecCon matchups, this thing just ate through security like it was nobody's business, and it was in a good spot most of the events. You did have to be playing High Roll King, because the way you wanted to play this Muggan was basically you're going to slam it down, hope they don't answer the dang thing, and then basically start smacking in their face constantly the rest of the turns, which is not terrible, to be honest with you. The deck had a lot going for it. It had a DP minus protection. It had a way of staying on the board because it wanted to, if it was to be deleted, it was going to be able to trash 2 level 5s and go from there. And then it's just on play being able to gain X amount of memory, depending on the number of level 5s you put in, was always decent and a half. You know, it was great. Muggan still even has some competitiveness in itself right now. And again, it might long-term wise stay like that. Then you have Ultimate Connection. You may trash 1 level 5 Cyborg in his traits in your hand to gain 2 memory and draw a card. This option definitely helped early Muggan to actually play very decently in the meta. Even though it wasn't the best call, it was definitely a call. You know, they all kind of had their opponent's turn, you know, reboot, blocker, you know. Then you also had Metal Mame being able to pop threats, security +1 from the Machinedramon, and Metal Greymon giving the piercing. You know, you also had to use Hagura and Guardramon, and the biggest issue came from the deck in itself, right? Because it had to rely so heavily on the 5s that it didn't really play similar to like the stack decks. And if you didn't see Muggan, you were kind of like twiddling your thumbs, and that was kind of the big issue with the deck, was that, you know, it needed more waves of support. Yes, it eventually got Chaosdramon X, and a bunch of level 5s constantly coming through, which is never terrible. It always, if you got a cyborg anything, Muggan started taking advantage of it from day one. And again, the Chaosdramon X antibody, being able to grab any piece that it need, was fantastic. So yeah, there's sometimes just things like that from Muggan was a great benefit. But again, eventually time does show its age. Now, welcome to the new Muggan house. So Machinedramon got a big facelift, and it decided, you know what, we're going to keep the side set trend, and we're going to keep me a secret. There are analog mans coming, so hopefully we get to see that kind of soon. Maybe while I'm in the middle of recording this, there was a post. Let's just check, because you never know. I don't know. We don't know. Nah, nothing yet. So, but with the new Muggan, it gained a new keyword aspect called Assembly 6. So you need 4 level 5 cyborg traded cards with different names, and when this card would be placed, by placing those specific cards from trash under it, reduce the play costs. So, not terrible. Could be a hell lot worse. We know that it's never kind to Muggan. Because Muggan has to play a specific way, the deck's overall searchability kind of hinders its own self. You know, being able to have Machinedramon, though, place 1 level 5 cyborg or version 5 trait card. Yes, it's level 5 version 5, not, you know, just a version 5 card that would be stupidly broken. Throwing trash or hand or trash as this Digimon's top Digivolution card. Activate on play effects of the place card as an effect of this Digimon. Really nasty, to be honest with you, because all the new ones have an on play and one digivolving skill, so at least they'll be able to digivolve on top of the DM skill traded cards. But with Muggan being as powerful as it is, being able to take advantage of their on play of a level 5 cyborg can get really nasty and out of hand pretty quickly. But all turns when this Digimon will leave the barrier by trashing its bottom 2 face down cards or cyborg traded cards, it doesn't leave. This now fixed Muggan's bigger issues, and that was basically chaos integration, being able to yeet it off the board, and then boom, you're kind of just falling behind. But now with this Muggan being able to self-protect from just anything is just really nasty. Muggan's just going to be competitive, I think, maybe. But things you have to take into consideration is that they all have this when this card will be played by trashing one cyborg or X version card traded from your hand, reduce the play cost by 2. To be honest with you, what you want to be comboing this is probably for the best. Because if you can get it down for cheapy cheap, you're just going to be in a good spot, right? So big things we want to go cyborg, cyborg. You know, cards like Attack of the Heavy Mobile is definitely going to see play because of the Russian Blitz, but also cards like Supreme Connection, being able to, you know, search for the cyborg piece or machine piece you need. Again, we're going to need that because our Machinedramon is now changing up. And then Supreme Connection's delay is being able to play a level 5 or higher Digimon with machine or cyborg tree from your hand with the play cost reduced by 3. So comboing that with the natural reduction means that card comes in for a whopping, you know, starts at 7, -2, -3. Comes in for 1 cost, which again, I think a lot of players will say in this economy, yeah, let's go for 1 cost. So yeah, think about that when you're coming down to deck building. But with the new card support, you know, we got Pagumon being able to, by trashing a bottom face down Digivolution, this Digimon may digivolve into a level 5 card in the trash with his Digivolution cost by 1. So being able to cheat evolution is going to be huge. Gaze being able to search pieces, which is really nice because the new way of play doesn't really want to play with all the old stuff anyway, but it ends up being a good trade anyway. So, you know, Metal Mamemons being able to end a turn one of your opponent's one of your Digimon unsuspends, but on play, basically when Digivolving, you get to do some crazy shenanigans by tucking, you know, trash. Place 1 Digimon card from your trash face down as this bottom Digivolution card, and then do X from one of your opponent's Digimon. Trash any Digivolution for each face down. You know, the bigger the stack you get face down is really solid. Metal Tyranno is just giving piercing, but Digivolves and then gets to delete something. Yeah, that's really solid. You know, Machinedramon gets to delete by unsuspending this Digimon, delete one of your Digimon with the lowest level, which hopefully is Magna X, so you can just self-pop and then boom, go from there. But being able to, you know, delete, you know, bigger costs, play cost. Metal Gray is just being able to DP delete. And then Androidmon just being able to minus DP delete. Gives blocker, security attack 1, and just kind of just all around good stuff for the deck. Cards are really going to be very interesting to see, especially because this is going to be the most expensive Muggan deck in history of ever, because the number of super rares in the deck just went from, you know, a small number to actually a huge finishing. So I think it has some great value going into the meta. Will it be super competitive? I don't know, and I can't give you that complete honesty because I have yet to test this in a high ranking event, but give me some time and I'll give it some try. So yeah, hopefully we get there and eventually, you know, it'll be something great. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.